Hello, my name is Rabbi Tuvia Bolton, and I would like to say a few words about a very touchy subject, namely the Holocaust. Since Abraham, the first Jew, the Jews have been hated and persecuted. Abraham was called Abraham Ha'ivri, means the other side, because all of the world was on one side and Abraham was on the other side. People did not want to hear Abraham's message that there's a God that creates us and expects us to be good, that we have a responsibility to be moral and good people. And so it was a few generations later when there came Lavan Arami, wanted to destroy all the Jews. After that, in the days of Moses, there was Paro, and along with him, after the Jews got out of Egypt, Amalek. A little bit later, between the first and second temples, there was Haman. And finally, in our generation, there was Hitler and the Nazis. Their purpose was to kill the Jews because the Jews are God's people. And they could not stand the idea of there being a God that demands from us to be good and moral people. What's the solution? To find fault is pointless. The Lubavitcher Rebbe said that there is no explanation for the Holocaust. The only ones at fault were the Nazis. Why it happened to the Jews, only Mashiach will explain, but he will explain. And that's one reason why we have to look for the solution and not worry about the problem. I once heard a story that there was a young boy that fell into a river, churning river, and a man jumped into the river, risked his life, and saved the child and brought him to dry land. The child said, "Thank you, you saved my life. How can I repay you?" And the man said, "Just do me a favor, make sure that your life becomes a life that was worth saving." We are now alive. We've all been saved from the Holocaust. We're not alive by accident. Nothing in this world happens by accident. Every creation has an obligation to the Creator to be a good person, to be a better person. And we Jewish people have an obligation to make the world better by doing the commandments and learning God's Torah. The Torah and the commandments are God's will, called Torah Chaim, the Torah of life. This is what Hitler really wanted to destroy. Let's make sure that it doesn't happen. Let's not celebrate how Hitler succeeded, the people that he killed, but how he failed. We should learn the Torah and be joyous. We should have love of others, replacing the hatred that they had. A major lesson we can learn from the Holocaust is that human values and human intellect cannot possibly be the solution to the problems of man. There was no nation that was more sophisticated, more cultured, more intellectual, with philosophers and music, ethics, than the German people before the World War II. And they did the most hideous and bloodthirsty things, worse than any animal. Let us fix that up by having love for no reason, by looking and seeing the good in everything, the life in everything, and making the world a better place by observing the Torah, learning about the commandments, and doing them. God bless you all, and let us hope that now, any second, will arrive the Mashiach, build the third temple, bring all the Jews back to Israel, and we will all see that Am Yisrael Chai V'Kayom, Am Yisrael is alive and existing forever.